YouTube, what's good? I'm back with another video, and today I want to talk about how I leverage credit to train in the off season. So I'm going to be going through some high-level steps. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe. We're going to go ahead and hop straight into the video. I don't want to waste any other time. And if you guys have any questions, as always, drop your comments below. All right, so in today's video, I'm going to be breaking down the strategies that I leverage to use credit in the offseason, specifically the NFL offseason, but this is applicable for any sport that you may play, and it has to be professionally, obviously, because of your time. So one of the most important things I learned about a few years ago was credit. I knew about it. A lot of people had told me about the scary aspects of credit. Don't mess it up. Only use it for dire situations, only use it for gas, and spend it, and, make sure that you can pay it off in full. And while all those things are good, I've learned to develop my own principles for credit. And I'm going to be kind of explaining in today's video and how you can use that in the off season in a very effective way that I've seen, right? So one of these things I learned was that credit is a tool. And honestly, it's like a game. It's all about knowing how to play the game, right? So there's credit bureaus, there's credit scores, there's all these different important data points that go with your social security number. Now, the most important thing is to realize that credit is literally what the word says. It's your credibility. That's how I conceptually look at it. And a lot of the concepts that I'm going to be explaining today are probably contrarian to what you've heard, because I've actually used these rather than I'm not just out here talking about stuff. And it works for me, and it's helped me to get where I am single-handedly. Like, without credit, I don't even think I would be in this position of life that I'm in. Obviously, my relationship with the Lord and Savior, but outside of Him providing and opening up the door, the physical resources I've been able to use has been 100% leveraged by credit, right? So it's important to know a few things, right? There's business credit and there's personal credit, right? You have personal credit, really simple. Everybody has it. It's attached to your social security number. There's a credit score. It can go up to 850. When you pay things off, how many derogatory terms you have, your accounts, how many open accounts, closed accounts, revolving accounts, what credit cards you have. Like, all that's fine and dandy. This is not a credit overview. This is more of a conceptual way to leverage the credit. And you can go watch other videos on like how to check your credit score and what do all the different credit bureaus mean, Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. And I know this video will be timeless, but there will probably be other ways to figure out your credit in the future. But it's important to understand that there's personal credit and business credit. Now, I would only recommend using these strategies for business credit, but I've used them for personal credit. So let's start with the first one. And it's pretty simple. It's like, you need to find a way to get a high limit credit card. One with a revolving limit of $20,000, $30,000 is going to be best in order for you to do this effectively in the off season. Now, if you want to know the exact number and get very granular, let's just say it costs you $3,000 a month to pay for training, food, and meal. Really simple. And you're going to be training in the off season for 5 months. That's $15,000, right? So you need to have a credit card that has at the minimum $15,000. And you want to dedicate that card to specifically training. Now you're asking, okay, Trey, well, where do I go get these credit cards? And how do I get this credit limit if I don't have high credit? All right, so there's a few different things that you can do. You can go get your credit repaired. You can buy ebooks that teach you how to repair your credit. And then on top of that, you can honestly just pay your stuff off. That's what I would suggest, and just reset your credit score. From there, you get into the credit building phase, which is essentially just, how am I going to build my credit? One of the things I tell people is really, really easy. This is if you've removed all the negative items and you have a clean credit report and you maybe have a few inquiries. Number one is to remove your inquiries. You can call the credit bureaus and get those removed, especially if they're things that you did not apply for. You have the legal right to be able to get those removed. A lot of times that happens when we go to car dealerships and people, just things like that, they'll shop you around to a bunch of different places that you did not apply to. So pull your credit report. Don't use Credit Karma. Use Experian.com is a good one. There's also a few other good resources out there that you can leverage to pull your credit report, pull from all 3 bureaus, see what your numbers are across the 3 bureaus. Once you do that, figure out what's on your credit report, make sure that you don't have any negative items. And then from there, you're going to get into the building phase. I suggest starting with credit unions. Every city dang near has one. You can go down to the credit union. If you're an athlete, go ahead and put a little bit of money into the account, maybe a game check or so, put that into the account. And then from there, you're going to let that sit for a few months. So you can do that during the season if you're planning to do this in the off season. So let's say it's, October, November, or whenever your sports season is. You can then take that money that you have gotten from a game check, put that into a bank account, specifically a credit union, let it sit there for, a few months, and then go back and apply for a credit card. At that point, they'll give you either up to or a little bit less than your current balance that you put in there. So if you put $20,000 in there, they should give you a credit card that's, $10,000 to $20,000, right? That's a good place to start. Now, the purpose of what I'm trying to explain today is, once you go through and actually get the credit cards that you need to get to your limit, so $10,000, $20,000, $30,000, you're going to need to figure out, do you want to do this in your personal or in your business? Now, if you do it in your personal, you're going to have to go get 0% interest credit cards, which just basically means you have 0% interest for a certain period of time. And this goes back to why I think I have contrarian beliefs. So for me personally, I'm the type of person, I will pay a minimum payment and still have a balance left and pay interest if I know that eventually I'm going to be able to pay it down. I talk about the story where I lived off business credit for 4 months. months and like my wife didn't know. You know, I was just like, everything's good. It really wasn't. But I was literally just leveraging the business credit that I had. I had like 6 months left on 0% interest. And the reason why I was doing that is I believed in myself so thoroughly that I would get an opportunity to go to the NFL or that my business would blow up. And I was investing the money into that. And that's what I do with the credit cards, right? So if I have a personal credit card with 0% interest, I'm okay with my credit score going down for a little bit of time because how I look at credit is just an investment. I don't look at credit anything else but just an investment. How can I leverage this credit in order for me to pay for something that I either do or don't have? Like if I don't have cash, I will still pay for it with a credit card. And I know that that's very contrarian to what a lot of people tell you, but the reason that I do that is because I wholeheartedly believe in myself. Like I know that if I put the effort in and I believe and I have the faith and I continue to press forward, like I know that what I'm going after will come to pass. So I'm willing, I have a very high risk tolerance. I'm willing to put the money down. I'm willing to put it up if I don't have it, right? Especially if I know I have a credit card that's saying, hey, I got 12 to 15 months to pay this thing back. You're telling me in, you know, a calendar year and a half, I get an opportunity, like go out and perform. I can pay for top flight massages, top flight recovery, top flight training, top flight food for 4 or 5 months to prepare me for a season to potentially make the team. And the way I look at it is this: let's say you're a rookie, or let's say that you're in the USFL or the XFL, or you're in another league, or you're in a minor league and you want to get to the major league. Like there are a set list of things and behaviors that you have to do in order to get there. And then the goal is, okay, now that I know I got to get there, how can I get there? You're probably gonna have to increase your volume in which you work out or train, or the type of people you're around, or the type of food that you're consuming. You're gonna have to increase that. So the only way to do that in a healthy form or fashion is you're probably gonna have to pay for better supplements, better sleep, better trainers. You're gonna have to upgrade, and a lot of that stuff costs money. And if you don't have it, you have to leverage something, because if that you say that's your goal and other people are doing it, but you're not there, or you didn't get afforded the opportunity, or whatever the circumstance, like you are where you are right now. And that's what I used to tell myself is like, I'm here. I'm not in the league. It's my 4th year removed. Like I'm about to go to the USFL. Right? I got these bills to pay, but I got this credit card that's $30,000 and I have 12 months to pay it off. I went to American Express. I got 2 credit cards that were $30,000. So I had $60,000 to play with. And I said, I'm going to literally spend every single penny on here because I know an NFL game check is 15, 20,000, or insert whatever your game check is. And you could apply this to business too. Like I know that I'm going to make this amount of money if I get to where I am desiring to go, and I'll pay all this stuff off, and then it will all be worth it. Because at the end of the day, the way I look at it is I'm leveraging credit to keep moving up the ladder, right? So if I have those 2 $30,000 credit cards and I know, I got a trainer that says it's $15,000 and I got to pay $15,000 for that 5-month analogy, that's $30,000. And then the other $30,000, maybe that's what I'm living off of. But I know that, a month's time, I'll make $60,000 to pay all that stuff back, right? And then I still have the credit left over. Like that's how I think. I took the business minded. I learned a lot of these things from a lot of my mentors, my mentor specifically, and other people that I look up to on how to actually leverage credit. And as athletes, we don't do that because we use our own money, which is not a bad thing. But I would never want to use my own money if I could use somebody else's. That's the point of OPM, right? Other people's money. I want to leverage the money that they're giving me to go out and achieve a goal, and I will pay it back before it's due. And I'm the type of person that even if I don't fully pay it back, I will pay a little bit interest. I will pay $200 or $300. I'll pay $500 a month extra for 3 or 4 months just to know that at some point I'm going to pay it off, because that's how I think, right? I want to continue to leverage it. Now, I'm not saying that that's the right way. I'm not saying that everybody should do that, but these are my beliefs. This is what I had to do that. So then I learned, right? And then I learned it's not that bad, because at the end of the day, when I got the money to pay it off, it didn't matter. I'm right back to zero. Right? And now I'm building, and now you grow. Because I look at it like, let's say you're right here. You can't really go any lower, right? So if you get a credit card that's a business credit card that takes you up here, it's $30,000. You have $30,000 to work with, but you don't actually have the money. You got to pay it back in 12 months or in 12 or 15 months. You only make $1,500 a month, but you have to spend $5,000 to get to that cap. I'm just making this up, right? So that means that you basically have $3,500 of wiggle room that you need to make up, but you have 12 months. But let's just say it isn't a 0% interest. Let's say it has interest because you really like the card, or it's the only card that you can get approved for. So you pay the $5,000, and at the end of the month, you can't pay it back, right? So you can pay as much as you can. You pay the minimum payment. You don't get a late fee or anything like that, or it doesn't pop up on your credit report. So you pay the $150 minimum payment, right? And now you have, $4,850. So now what you say is, okay, cool. How much of this can I pay down? What's going to be the interest? So let's say the interest at bottom line is an extra $200. So now you're paying $5,150 instead of $5,000. So you really pay, an extra $200 in interest. I get it. But you you know that if worse comes to worse, you're just gonna keep increasing that valve. But you know when you get to your goal that you may make $5, $10, $15, $20,000 per month or $100,000 per month, dude, you're gonna be able to pay that $15,000 down. And I don't know if that like made sense, but that's how I think about it. Because when you're going into the off season, you know, if your goal is to continue to play, like, you know that you're gonna get paid again. And it's a matter of, as long as you stay ahead of the curve, you never really should be using your money. You continue to leverage it, and the new money that you get in, you pay it down, and you continue to build, and you build, and you build, until eventually you play your last season, you know you're done, and then the money that you made minus the money that you spent in the off season plus the money you stacked, you're good to go. But you never actually took the cash out of your account, because all else fails, something might happen, right? And then now you literally don't have a way to leverage it anymore, right? Because you don't have the money coming in, or you're using the cash that you do need. Let's say you actually need the cash for something, you want to do a real estate deal. Like, that's how I look at it, because there's certain things that you can't use credit for. You can use it for basically everything, and I'm sure there's ways that you can, but you do need to be able to have cash available at the time when the opportunity presents itself, right? So that was my tangent, but for me, the way I look at it is pretty simple. In the off season, I sit down, I figure out how much it's gonna cost me. I multiply that times the month. I find a credit card to allocate specifically to that. Now from there, I'm gonna leverage that credit. I'm gonna go find 0% interest cards. I'm gonna leverage that credit as long as I can. I'm gonna keep my cash and all the other stuff on the side. That's gonna be specifically for training and for the off season. And then when the season comes up, I'm going to take one game check or two game checks or one business check or whatever it is. I'm going to pay that thing off, and I'm going to keep the ball moving, and I'm going to do it again. And I'm going to do it again because I get rewards points. I don't actually use the money that I have, and I like the idea of leveraging. That's just what I like to do, because it's just an investment. I'm investing, but the only thing is I'm not investing in an asset. I'm not investing in an Airbnb. I'm not investing in stocks. I'm investing in myself, right? Because I believe in myself. And these strategies are not useful for you if you do not believe in yourself. But if you believe in yourself and you know that you can get there, that's what you need to do. Don't use your cash. Use the credit. Go use business credit, right? You're also building your business credit, right? And you are a business. So mostly all of the things that you'd be doing, you write off. Going to the gym and working out is a write-off. Theoretically, you are making yourself better as the business owner, right? You need physical fitness. It increases your awareness. You need food. You can't do that, right? If you hire people that you work out with, like, there's so many different ways that you can leverage it, but I think that this is an important strategy. I just wanted to hop on here and kind of break this down for you guys in terms of like how we do that. I think it's an important strategy and how we leverage it. So I do hope that this helps, but nonetheless, make sure that you're leveraging the credit that you have. Find ways to build it, find ways to grow it. Make sure you remove, do not use cash. Don't use your debit card. You don't even get any rewards points. And that's a whole nother conversation, because if you talk about, spending $30,000, $40,000 in the off season, but you're using a debit card, like, you don't get any points back from that. Like, I travel, I don't pay for my travel. At this point, I do not pay for my travel. I use strictly rewards points to travel, to stay at hotels, whatever it is. You can buy things off Amazon all the time. Like, you can leverage the rewards points. So there's no point in you not doing it. You might as well just do it. You just have to sit down and do it one time. If you do it one time and you learn how to do it, you can do it forever. And especially if you're doing it with a business, that's why I don't suggest you do it in the personal. If you need to the first time, you can. But if you do it in a business name, you can literally just create another EIN and run the same play, especially if you like the bank. These are strategies. I hope they help. This is what I do in the off season. I sit down, plan it out, come up with an effective way to get it done, find a bank. I like using Chase or American Express, really good banks. You can use Bank of America. They have 0% interest cards like galore. But there are numerous other banks that will do the same thing. Credit unions, as I said, are good places to start. And then leverage the credit. Use your credit in the off season. Use it to invest in yourself, especially if you plan on going out and getting a big contract. But use it in the off season too if you want to acquire properties. Like, I think it's just overall leveraging credit is the way to go. And the same thing I've used. I've had to live off of it for a period of time, and it helped me. You have to do what you need to do to continue to move the ball forward. It's all about progression in my mind. Like, I was here and I'm trying to get here. I don't want to keep using my money and getting right back here, using my money, getting right back here. Use somebody else's money. Use this money I have, invest this here, right? And then now I'm going here and here, and I'm continuing to scale. That's what I learned, and that's what works for me. So it may not work for everybody else, but I do hope that this video helps. If you guys got questions, as always, please drop them below. Please make sure to like, comment, subscribe. I'll talk to y'all soon. All right.